Hello and welcome. I'm Eric Miskell with EMSNOW, and I am joined by Dita Weiss of in4ma. And we are here to tell you a little bit about our upcoming EMSNOW and in4ma on Tour 2023. Dita and I, this will be our third such tour together. And we begin that just in about 10 days or so, on June 12th in the UK, we begin a tour of EMS in Europe. So Dita, welcome. It's good to see you. I am looking forward to spending time with you again. It's always good opportunity to kind of learn more about the industry, and I always appreciate the discussions you and I have on those long drives from company to company that we have.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Eric. I'm really looking forward as well. And I hope very much that our audience is looking forward to many interesting podcasts. If I look back to the last 2 years, we always had very interesting news. We both learned in many visits things we hadn't known before. And let's be realistic. You have a lot of experts out there that at least call themselves experts, but I think you only become an expert by learning. And learning is a very important part of becoming an expert. And learning you do either by what we do a lot, reading the annual reports, looking at the numbers, all of that. But that is only a part of the business. You need to be at the factory. You need to be on the shop floor. You need to see what is going on over there. What are they doing? How are they doing it? Yeah. And you need to meet the management. You need to discuss with them. You need to ask them how they think their company is developing, in what direction it is developing, in order to understand this industry better, and in order to understand what the different streams and areas of expertise in our industry are. And from what we learn, we can share then in our podcasts with the audience. And my past experience is that many people came back to us and said, well, hey, great thing what you're doing over here. We are listening to it because we can listen to it either on our way to work or in the evening on our way back home.
Yeah, no, and I think you're right. It is, our mission, and you and I have talked about this, is to help elevate the EMS industry, right? I think you do that, especially within Europe. You've been a primary force behind that with all of your efforts and work, and then obviously with EMSNOW as a platform to do the same. And I think that those interactions with the companies are critical to that. And
and we are cooperating with IPC as well, and they have a similar slogan, make electronics better. So we are all having the same approach in different ways. And all of this forms to a good close concept to help the industry.
Yeah. So let me just, for the benefit of our audience, also kind of tell what we're planning at this point. This year in 2023, as of today, and these are moving targets, we are currently scheduled to visit, I believe it's 18 plus or minus EMS companies. We're also going to be attending 2 EMS events at which Dita will be presenting. I'll ask you to say something about that in a minute. And we're going to actually touch 8 different countries in Europe during our journey this time. And then, so I look back this morning at our previous 2 trips, and the numbers have increased. So when we first did this in 2021, during COVID, remember that? When we, that was a hell of a trip.
When we couldn't get into Switzerland.
Yeah, remember we were tested, what, 9, 10 COVID tests along the way? We did, I think we visited 12 EMS companies that year. We attended the one event up in Tallinn, Estonia, and we actually touched 6 countries that tour. And then last year, we visited 15 EMS companies. We attended one event that was the Electronica at the end.
Yes.
And we actually touched 5 countries last year. So it's, again, it's growing. I think companies appreciate it. I know that when we travel, we get contacted by other companies saying, next time around, please include us. And so
Yes.
please keep sending those, because Dita and I plan to continue these journeys. But Dita, let me ask you to talk to the 2 events that we're going to be doing. One will be in London, one will be in Munich. You are a keynote at both of those. So why don't you tell the audience a bit about what we're doing there?
Yes. Both seminars will be dedicated in the majority, but not only, to the EMS industry. The first one will be on June 15th in London, organized by IPC. And even Sanjay Huprika, our managing director of Europe and South Asia, will be coming to London. And we started this last year for the first time, and it was quite a success. This year, we will have at least double as many people attending this. And I will be giving an update on the industry, in specific, looking as well at the challenges this industry has now, with not only with macroeconomics, but as well with a lot of other very important things people need to watch. So that is a half-day seminar, which starts around lunchtime and ends up at 5 o'clock. And afterwards, there will be, as far as I remember, a flying buffet, or a little buffet with some drinks. It's a good thing, because most of the people in the UK will be able to travel the same day back and forth. So they can travel to London in the morning, be at our event place at lunchtime. We will make sure that they get some lunch as well over there at the location, and then we start our seminar with them. And afterwards they can have a bite to eat as well, and then head home.
Good.
So that is number 1. Number 2 is a thing. I have been giving EMS seminars until 2018 in Munich. It became a burden to me, I have to admit, because I was doing it all by myself, and it's a lot of work. So in 2018, I decided to join another seminar called EMSNOW, which was in Würzburg, a little further north of Munich, but still in Bavaria. And I was just giving the keynote, and I made this event quite big, because a lot of EMS companies followed me. But I have to admit, it became too much commercial for me. Yeah, and my main objective was not to make this a sales event of anything. I wanted to pass on information, important information, to the EMS industry. And that's why I decided last year that it would be my last attending of this seminar, and I would start my own thing again. And so this year is a test balloon. We are doing it in Munich again, close to the train station, so people can come by train. We are at the moment having around 100 people attending the event, and we did not accept any application from suppliers. Some of them were a little disappointed, I have to admit, but on the other hand, I had been approached by several EMS who said, listen, we are sitting there, we want to listen to the important messages, and then they come us to us and they try to sell us something. We say no 3 times, and after lunch they come again and approach us a 4th time. It gets difficult for us to stay polite and just say, thank you, no. So I said, okay, if you don't want suppliers there, I make this seminar without them. Yeah, so I did, and now we have just one exception, I have to admit. Yeah, you have seen all these discussions on chips don't fly. You have seen the Chips Act. You have seen
Chips
that.
don't float. Chips don't float.
Yeah, well, yeah, in America they don't flow. Over here in Europe they don't fly. Yeah, and which means you need a chip carrier, you need a place where you put the thing on, and you need to connect them in order to make them work. So we are talking about number one, OSAT. Yeah, we are talking about hybrid circuits. We are talking about wafer level packaging. We are talking about systems on chip. All of that, and we're talking about printed circuit boards. Yeah? So we decided that we needed to give these people from this industry, and this has become a very small industry in Europe, we have decided to give them an audience as well. So we have invited all PCB manufacturers, not distributors from China, no, just manufacturers. And we have quite a good attendance of people from the German speaking. I have to admit this seminar will be in German this year. So from this industry, we have people there. We have as well people there from the hybrid industry. Not just talking about SiC film, talking about thin film, talking about OSAT, talking about LTCC, HTCC, all of direct copper bonding, all of these different technologies. There are still some players over there. We want to unite them with the help of IPC. And I have to recall a meeting that happened on the 13th of April in Brussels, organized by IPC for the European PCB industry, where for the first time for a long time, IPC had been able, with their connections in Brussels, to politicians in Brussels to listen to the European PCB manufacturer. Now, that doesn't mean anything,
no,
but it's a beginning.
Exactly.
There's no guarantee that we'll be able to do something similar to what IPC and PCBAA has achieved in Washington with I think it's a 25% tax cut.
Yes.
It's brilliant. I'm not sure whether it works over here in Europe. Yeah, my personal opinion is what we need over here in Europe is a different approach. We probably need import tax in Europe for bare PCBs and PCBAs. Yeah, because the stupid thing is there is no laminate or very few laminate industry in Europe anymore. And all PCB manufacturers in Europe need to buy laminate in the Far East. There is 8% import duty on laminates, but bare PCBs have no import duty. That's stupid.
Yeah. And let me just, the point you made, let me just clarify so there's no confusion on the PCBAA. That's an act that's being debated now and hopefully will get passed, that offered $3 billion kind of incentive, but also to your point, it was a 25% tax credit for or rebate essentially for domestic PCB purchasing. So it's a good thing here and do that.
Yes.
Now listen, though, I also want to say the event in Munich, you'll be speaking. You have a bunch of industry speakers addressing the audience. You said it's about 100 people. And I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that, EMSNOW is actually serving as a sponsor for the event as well. So
yes, definitely. It is EMSNOW, in4ma, and EMS Scout who are officially running this thing, supported by IPC. And other than that, we did not look for any further sponsors because we decided we couldn't look for sponsors on the one hand and then say, sorry, you can't attend. Yeah, makes no sense. So we are looking at a different approach next year. and I'm in discussion with IPC that we might discuss a European EMS event, which then
Okay.
would be organized by IPC. And we have to look what
Wow.
location we're going to
Okay.
do that then.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Hey,
again, we need to unite this industry because on the other hand, the industry is consolidating as well.
yeah. So let me also add for the people listening, one of the things that we've done on all of our previous tours, and we'll continue here, is, as you know, DITA and in4ma are the kind of the preeminent market researcher for the industry there. And every place we visit, DITA always shares some slides on the particular country. So for example, the first week of our tour, that week of June 12th, we'll be visiting with 7 EMS companies in the UK. And we'll probably do a little mini report out about the UK after that as well. And we always share some of Dita's slides and his overall numbers. We don't give away all of his information because that does cost for his full stuff, but we do want to give some sense of the market, the sizing and the trends. And so one of the good things about this is as we travel to different regions within it, we can reflect, as we did last year in France. We did a little report out just about the French EMS industry after having spent several days visiting with a half dozen companies there. So we will intend the same thing in the UK and then on a move forward basis. And as Dita indicated earlier, we will be doing daily podcasts, or just about daily podcasts. The way we do this is at the end of every day, usually we visit 2 companies a day when we're on the road. And at the end of the day, Dita and I, before dinner, sit down and kind of reflect on what we saw, talk a little bit and give a little color commentary on the companies that we visited and what we're noticing. And so look for those. Those will be daily. We also, over the weekends, we usually do some catch up and maybe do a summary report on something. So those will be coming out. Those will be posted via EMSNOW and through LinkedIn. So do look for that. And then we're certainly upon the conclusion of the trip, once I get back and unwind, we'll be producing a report about an overall report about our impressions and what we saw and our thoughts and on the industry over there. So it's a big undertaking, but you know, Dita is a good partner to travel with. We've done this twice before. We haven't killed each other yet, so we figured we could try it again here this year. It's time well spent. And again, I just wanted to make the point that a lot of Dita's numbers will be shared as I ask him to reflect on different regions in the podcasts planned. Anything to add to that, Dita?
Yes, and I pretty much sure all those companies we visit very much appreciate that we are visiting them, and they appreciate the numbers. And we are working hard to give some added value with our visit. And as you said before, this year it is going to be 8 different countries. It's going to be a huge number of companies, and in actual fact, this trip could nearly be called "The World Is Not Enough."
Is that the motto? There we go.
Yeah.
That's it. But yeah, and so look for that. We will be doing the report outs. By the way, every company that we visit, we will create a profile on them. They will be posted on the EMSNOW website. Those are free. Anybody can go there. We have under the EMS directory side there. And whatever report that we produce about this will also be provided and posted to the industry for free. Again, we do this to try to elevate the industry, to kind of you know, position it in, especially in terms of a lot of the mega trends going on with reshoring, increased outsourcing, electrification of everything these days. EMS is well suited and positioned to serve it well. Dita, before we go, any last comments from you?
Well, I can only say, stay tuned, listen to our podcast, welcome us at your companies, and we really appreciate any feedback you give us by email. any recommendation, what you want to hear, what you want to see. We are very open-minded people, even so in the discussion with Eric and me, we fight each other once in a while, especially at night when we are driving in the car. Yeah. Eric is thinking of bringing his pump gun this year. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, stay tuned. Yeah. Join us on our podcasts and give us your feedback, what you want to hear, what you like, what you don't like. Yeah, we're open for criticism as well.
Yeah, and any feedback on as we're discussing trends, if you wish to add to or suggest others, please do so. Excellent. In closing, I just want to thank from the EMSNOW side, my tour sponsors this year, who are CalcuQuote, Mycronic, and Trusted Parts. Thanks to them, we're able to do this type of tour and go spend, as I'm about to again, 3 weeks in Europe running around. So we appreciate those 3 sponsors and look forward to saying more about them over the next month. So.
Yeah.
Dita, thank you, sir. I look forward to seeing you on June 12th at Heathrow Airport.
Exactly. Thank you, Eric, and looking forward to meeting you all. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.